This is my third try recording this because I'm running into technology issues, but third time's a charm. Introduction to backpacking. So, what is backpacking? Backpacking is actually carrying all of the resources that you are going to need while camping in the backcountry. And so, this can be confused sometimes between hiking. Hiking is a part of backpacking, but hiking can also be done in a day form where you don't need a shelter or a water filtration system or a sleep system in order to experience the backcountry. Car camping is different because it's something that we all may have experienced as children, where we drive up to the campsite, take everything out, set up our tent, we have our stove and everything that we need. Backpacking is car camping but shrunk down to way less and to be more efficient so that way we can hike to our destination, set up our camp, and enjoy our backcountry away from people and all of the struggles that come with some of that front country stuff. This book is my recommendation to you. It's by no means mandatory for this class, but it's like a $3 book that you can buy used off of Amazon and it does a lot of really neat stuff. So I'm going to talk about a lot of these concepts, but this is a nice pocket guide that has these really neat pictures and illustrations that go into all the different things that you can use while backpacking. And so some of it is how to carry your weight, which I'm going to talk about, but how to pack your pack appropriately. Okay, some of it is how to hang your food, where to put your bear canister, how to poop in the woods. Okay, there's all of these different really fun things, lightweight, easy resource in how to spend time in the backcountry. Alan and Mike have other books as well, which is lightweight backpacking. If you got into backpacking and you decided that you wanted to learn how to get all this lighter and more enjoyable. They also have ski and backcountry skiing, so lots of fun books if you get into backcountry experiences. Keeping it simple. So when we're starting here, I don't want to assume that no one has been backpacking before, but I also want to make sure that I am covering this as if you have not spent time in the backcountry. So first things first is to save money. Don't go out and spend hundreds of dollars in gear. Start out by asking around and seeing if anyone has any gear that you can borrow and see if you enjoy the activity. Learn more about the types and the different gear so you know what you're wanting. If you don't know anyone and you're getting into this, you can rent gear as well. Some of that big ticket gears are going to be your backpack, ranging anywhere from $250 new to $700 new if you get one made just for you, okay? Your tent, your sleep essentials, things like that. You can rent all that gear from REI, and like I said, if you need to do that for your independent study assignment, that's fine. Just let me know, and we can set that up through REI, okay? Maximizing your comfort. And so what I mean by this is proper gear goes a long way. And we have a whole gear series that we're going to go over in this class. But if you're cold or you're wet from the rain or you're hot and you're not prepared or it's windy, all of those things are going to impede your experience. And so by preparing in proper footwear and proper attire and for the weather, we can enjoy the backcountry more. To satisfy that fresh air fueled hunger. And so what I mean by this is have more calories than you think that you're going to need, okay? I have given more bars out in the backcountry because people didn't pack enough, and so I always feel like maybe I'm not eating this, but it's going a long way, okay? People get hungry. It's hard to stay warm. It's hard to stay moving. Okay? When we're first getting started, think close to home. Lots of great areas in our area, and so making sure that you're prepared for that. Some of which aren't in a good place right now with the heat and everything that's going on, but making sure that you are close. What we don't want to do is be 12 miles in the backcountry and have things go wrong or have a storm system come through that we didn't prepare for and not feel like we can get out and get to safety if we need to. Okay, so there is no shame in bailing. You will build your skills as time goes on. Okay, if the forecast says that the weather is going to be terrible, then just don't go. Okay, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. The summit will always be there. Okay, we have this thing called summit fever, and that's where you want to just keep going. But if it doesn't seem like it's going to be good weather that weekend or that there's another place to go potentially or postpone, but don't get yourself into trouble, okay? Finally, leave no trace principles. We're going to talk about that in detail. The idea here is to leave the backcountry the way that we found it. So Leave No Trace is actually a nonprofit that goes around teaching people how to take care of the backcountry. Like I said, the idea is to leave the backcountry as beautiful as it is today for multiple generations to come. So to start out, we have to plan ahead and prepare. That's what you're doing right now. Take a class thinking about everything. When we plan ahead and prepare, we don't leave things up to chance. If I end up on the wrong trail, if weather gets bad and I could have known but I didn't check, if I don't know how to read my map properly, if I don't have skilled people around me so I can be safe, all of those things are going to make me have to make choices that might leave a negative impact on the environment that could have been avoided had I prepared ahead. Second, travel and camp on durable surfaces. So anything that looks like a sensitive habitat, try and avoid. Stay on trails, camp on areas that have either been camped on before that are designated backpacker campsites, or rock, or something that's not going to impede a sensitive habitat. Disposing of waste properly. So concept here is to pack out what you pack in, okay? So if I pack out what I pack in, that means every piece of trash, including my toilet paper. This does not necessarily include human waste, okay? But in some circumstances, it does include human waste. For example, Mount Whitney here locally in Sequoia National Park is such a high impacted area in a very sensitive environment because it's above 10,000 feet that you actually have to pack out your human waste. How do you do that is through these special bags that they provide for you when you're given your permit for those areas, but it's your responsibility to know if that's the case. Leave what you find. The slogan here is to the slogan here is to take pictures, leave only footsteps, okay? If one person takes a rock, it's not a big deal. But if 100, 1,000, millions of people take a rock, we're going to impact this natural environment, okay? And when we're talking about national parks, we are talking about millions of people recreating in that area every year. Minimizing campfire impact. First of all, knowing if you're supposed to have a campfire or not. Anything in our area is above 10,000 feet. No campfires allowed. Below 10,000 feet, certain times of year, not allowed. If it's dry, not allowed. And it's your responsibility to know. We'll go over this during trip logistics. But the idea is it shouldn't look like a campfire was ever there. Okay. Respect wildlife. The good rule of thumb here is to be far enough away that you don't impact their natural behavior. Obviously, this can't be done at all times, but what we don't want to do is desensitize the animals to humans. Okay, so don't try and get closer for that picture. Don't try and get closer to see how cute it is. Things like that. Not only does that affect you and your safety, but it also makes animals less sensitive to humans and therefore changes their behaviors. When we change their behaviors, we run into issues like having to euthanize the animals because we fear for human safety. And be considerate of other visitors. That means no hiking with music on. That means not being loud late at night, okay? Not camping too close. It means being nice on the trail, things like that. 10 essentials. We're going to go into more details of these 10 essentials in another series, but the idea is these are 10 things that you will need in the backcountry, whether you're backpacking or day hiking, that sets yourself up for success. Some of these items are things that you'll use all the time, like your navigation system, your map and compass system, okay, your GPS system that you're going to use to navigate through the backcountry, to things that hopefully you won't need, like an emergency shelter or an emergency blanket. And so making sure that we're prepared for that. Like I said, we'll have a mini series on 10 essentials. 6 dumb things to say when backpacking. Okay, I'll take this shortcut. No, terrible idea. Not only does that not leave no trace, but it also risks you getting lost. Okay, stay on the trail, stick to the route that you had planned. When people don't come back, go missing, and aren't found, it's because they tried to take a shortcut. They got off trail, they got off route, and now they can't be found. Okay, you go ahead. all stay back here. Nope, we got to stick together in the back country. It's one of the best things we can do is make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and that we have someone, even if I'm with someone who hikes faster than me, it doesn't matter. We need to make sure that we all stay within eyesight of each other. Take care of that, okay? Be sure there will be, I'm sure there will be water. We're lucky in the Sierra because we have rivers, we have creeks, all of these water systems. But what we don't want to do is assume water. We can go a lot longer without food than without water. So I recommend starting every hike with 2 liters of water and trying to always keep a liter on you at all times. Let's keep climbing. Those clouds aren't that close. No, we want to check the weather, but we also want to use our intuition. Weather moves fast in the backcountry. In the summertime, which is when most people in our area spend time in the backcountry, we are known when it's really hot in the valley for having thunderstorms in the high Sierra. Okay? These thunderstorms are powerful. There's lightning. We risk exposure, so we need to wait for that storm to pass. Okay? The summit will always be there. The summit doesn't look that far or hard. Take your time. Don't push yourself and put yourself in a situation where you risk injury. Okay? Yes, the summit is probably further and harder than it looks. Planning ahead, doing your research, knowing what you're getting yourself into. And then finally, and probably the most important here, keep going. We're bound to see something familiar. If you ever feel like you're lost, you need to stop and evaluate. Use the tools that you have in your toolbox, your navigation system, anything like that. So that being said, navigation system, if you have a navigation system, which you should, okay, and you'd like to become more versed in that. In fact, one of the things that I see most people, most young and new backpackers do is they have a map and compass with them, but they don't know how to use it. At Fresno State, we offer a map and compass navigation class that is offered most springs with Ryan Stories. I recommend taking that. That's one of the best resources that you can have for safety in the backcountry. If you don't want to take a full unit and practice the skills, REI offers a 2-hour map and compass class that teaches you the basics of how to read a map and use a compass. We're lucky in our area because we have lots of fantastic, unique peaks, so it makes it pretty easy to orient yourself in the backcountry when you have a view of one of these peaks. Okay, if you decide to go through REI, I think it's $30 for non-members. I'm sorry, $30 for members and $50 for non-members for a 2-hour class, but it would really go a long way. Essential gear, kind of basing it off of those 10 essentials and continuing. And like I said, during our next mini series, we're going to go into a lot more detail of these. But your shelter, your sleeping bag, your sleeping pad, your lighting, your stove, even your water filter are your essential gears when we're talking about backpacking. Okay, your shelter can be in the form of a tent, it can be in the form of a tarp, it could be a hammock. We're going to talk about all the differences in that in our next series. Sleeping bag, the difference between car camping versus backpacking, and temperature ratings of sleeping bags. Sleeping pad and why this is important. No, you can't use yoga mats. Okay, needs to be a specific sleeping pad. It's your barrier to the ground. It keeps your heat in at night and the temperature drops at night. Lighting, illumination, the difference between a flashlight versus a headlamp. We're going to go into that. Having extra batteries, okay. Stove and water filters and the difference between those. This is the only series that's going to be all the information, this introductory, into one video, although you do have a YouTube video to watch as well. Other than that, it's going to be in 2, 3, 4 minute chunks, mini series that goes into each of these topics. If you have any questions, email me directly. Best of luck on your quiz.